All right. Welcome to the New Music Podcast. We've got your two regular jackoffs from upstate New York. My name is Patrick,
And I am Kyle.
and we have a
It's
very exciting guest with us, also named Kyle. Why don't you introduce yourself, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Kyle from Brand of Sacrifice and Earthshatter.
I, I'm pretty hyped. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty hyped. Pretty hyped.
All right. So how's life been since you got off the last tour?
Really good. I've just been kind of catching up on sleep. You don't get a ton of that on the road in an enclosed van sometimes, but that and been recording almost every day, working on the new record and some guest spot.
Ooh.
I know. Very exciting shit going on.
Okay.
So how was the tour? I mean, aside from not getting very much sleep and all.
It was definitely worth the loss of sleep. Every show was insane. I mean, half the tour sold out, which was awesome. And everybody on that tour was a super cool dude, awesome to hang out with. Couldn't ask for a better lineup as well. So it was a great time. I think every single person minus our driver got sick though at one point or another, but we all kind of pushed through it. So
Oh shit.
Did that have any kind of impact on you performing?
a little bit, but I pushed through it. It was more kind of an endurance thing, and
Right.
I was kind of just sweating out being sick most of the time, and not as many like headbangs and things like that. But I don't think it affected me too much on the vocal side of as it has in the past, being sick during winter.
Oh jeez. I haven't been sick in fucking years. Like I forget what it feels like to be sick.
All right, weird flex, but okay.
I'm sorry, but then somebody came up with sick, and I was like, man, you know what? I haven't been sick in a while. Wait a minute.
I was downing Dayquil like it was candy throughout this last winter, so I empathize. So how you want to tell me how the band formed and how Brand of Sacrifice rather kind of came together?
To be honest, originally this was supposed to be just a one-off side project with maybe an EP. Leo and I, the guitar slash composer, we've been writing music together in our old band, the Afterimage, for some time, and that was the main project. And we just kind of wanted to write something heavy and kind of get out of that realm for a little while. And I always had an idea to do like a technical slamming deathcore influenced band since like 2013. So it's something I always wanted to do, and just happened to kind of coincide with this deathcore resurgence with some slam influence, I guess you could say nowadays, which is kind of the thing.
It's weird because there's so much slam in deathcore. There's so much black in deathcore now. Deathcore is better than it's ever been, in my opinion.
I'd say so too. There's a lot of great kind of, I like to call them new age deathcore bands. That's kind of been the theme I've been going with. But yeah, so essentially this was something that wasn't meant to be a real band. And I mean, even the way that the songs were written weren't ideal. Like sometimes certain songs on that first EP have 3 tuning changes in the song at a time, which is not ideal in a live setting. But we make
So
it work.
how do you guys make that work then, if you don't mind me asking?
We have like automation through our session, which does pitch changes for the guitar.
Oh, okay.
So
Because you guys are running Kempers, right?
running in Kempers, yeah.
That's the way to do it, man. It really is so much smarter. So anybody that hates on not having like real or what they would call real gear it's kind of obnoxious, to be honest. But I still respect the old stuff because that shit takes more, maybe not more talent, but definitely a lot of talent and practice to figure out. Definitely above my knowledge.
You could definitely do it with kind of standard gear if you had a pitch shift pedal, but this way is a little bit easier. My guitarist doesn't have to focus on tapping things with his feet, and he can just kind of continue playing the song. So it works better, I think, for what we're doing.
I mean, it sounds better, so he doesn't really have to worry about anything. It just does it on its own. Like, honestly, I think that's the way to go.
We thought so too. And it's
Awesome.
the other thing is you'd have to kind of dial in that pedal a few times, which is not
Oh
really
yeah.
doable because certain songs have 3 changes in them, so it's not really ideal. We'd have to kind of transpose the songs for just 2 tunings instead of 3.
What's the tuning for the newest record, God Hand? Is that like drop A or something?
It's G sharp, I believe, for the most part, but then it goes to F at times. Just double drop D. There's some tunings that I don't even know what they are because they're so low. I'm not the guitar player, so I can't really comment too much on it, but that's what I've been told.
I've been fucking around with Cabal 8 for just for doing trap metal type shit, and that shit goes double drop E, and I didn't even know that was a thing until I bought the program. I was like, what the hell? How is that even possible? But where there's a will, man, there's a fucking way, especially with metal now.
That's right.
Insane.
Oh my god! I just immediately I thought of, you can't drop double E, not with that attitude. Not with that attitude.
Oh man. So I discovered this today, and I thought it was really interesting because
Oh my god! This are you? If it's the thing that you're gonna talk about, Pat.
No. It's actually
okay.
It's actually totally different. I'll
Okay.
let you bring that up after this.
Okay.
So I was going through your guys' discography on my way home today, and I noticed something that stood out to me. All right, on God Hand, there's a song called After Image, and it's
Yeah,
really
that's right.
somber. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that, because I on all the interviews I've heard, I haven't heard it mentioned.
So we think that song's kind of funny because it kind of sounds like you're killing something. So that's kind of the idea behind it.
Holy fuck.
So it's kind of like the death of the old and moving on with the new.
Oh, I kind of like that.
So that answers the question of if there will ever be more music from the After Image.
Most likely not.
Hey, I definitely understand. I mean, the gent shit was cool. It really was. And is it true you did the cleans on that shit too?
I did, yes.
That's fucking impressive. I'm sorry, I have to at least just say that.
Applaud. Round of applause right there. I definitely want to talk about Pat definitely Pat sent me this this morning. It was what is up with you and calling pizza places?
Oh yeah.
I found this on a whim, all right, and I thought it was hilarious.
We did a couple calls like that. Try to make instead of just kind of, throwing our songs over some type of funny video, we kind of wanted to make some memeable content that was original. So
yeah. It was so funny. Oh my god. I just loved how fucking angry both of those people got. I mean,
they literally got so pissed. Is that like a local coffee or a pizza shop to you?
Yeah, it's local to my area. It's one of the bigger chains. I don't want to put it out there.
No, yeah. I figured it was censored out for a reason. Because I personally, I would only ever do that to a pizza shop that has wronged me. I feel like that would be a great way to just fuck with them and feel like I got mine afterwards. But
seriously. But it was just so funny. Like the manager was probably the greatest part. Like the manager was probably the greatest part of stop. I was like, oh my god, this woman's gonna go in a mental asylum.
There's also a second one actually. There's a Best Buy one as well.
Oh no, I have to watch that then.
Well, my question related to that was, how did that find its way onto Unique Leader's YouTube channel? Was that something like pre-planned?
We just kind of showed them the video before we released it, and they thought it was hilarious. So they asked if we could put it on their channel as well. So
shit. Well, that's great for you guys then.
It's so good, dude. Like it's very original, and I love it. I just love. Yeah, I just love your fucking avatar when you did your harsh vocals. It was so funny. I just love how you pop up and then the manager pops up. You pop up and the manager pops up. It's fucking hilarious.
That stuff is all Leo on the video editing. He's pretty good at that type of
Oh
stuff.
my
So
god. Especially, I think my favorite part of that whole video was like, "Give me cheesy bread to make my bitch thicker," or something along those lines. I fucking lost my mind.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff is kind of like freestyled on the spot too. It's not something I like come up with. It just kind of happens.
Oh no, like that
You
can't
can't
be-
write that shit.
No.
You just can't. That shit can't be pre-written because you'd sit there and overanalyze that and be like, no, I have to say it this way.
Yeah.
Man, that was fucking great.
Glad you guys enjoy that.
So,
it definitely made my day.
you say you're working on the new record. Is it going to kind of fall in line with what we expect from Brand of Sacrifice, or can we expect to hear something new?
There's going to be some new things, that's for sure. We're trying to streamline the sound a bit more, and I don't mean that like we're going to become butt rock or something like that, or dad rock. No, we're not doing anything like that. It's still going to be extremely heavy, just as heavy or heavier than God Hand. But
Challenge accepted.
but we're just trying to. I think we kind of did that a little bit with songs like Charlotte and Fortress, where there were kind of hooks in a way, and certain parts that returned with chants and things like that. We're gonna have more things like that going on the album, so it's a little more digestible to a wider audience. But we're not going to sacrifice heaviness or anything
Pun
like that.
intended.
And we're still gonna definitely try and take the listener for a ride at times, because I think that's something that we think is important for our music, is kind of having the unexpected parts in our songs, taking the listener to somewhere where they didn't think it was gonna a riff was gonna come up, or a certain synth part or something like that. If that makes sense.
I definitely think that you guys have pretty much nailed that on both
Yeah.
your last big releases. So I am very confident that we can expect quite a wild ride on the next one. Now, I've heard you guys talk about how the band name was formed and it's inspired by an anime, one that's not very popular, the Berserk anime.
Yeah, it is pretty popular. I would argue that.
Okay.
But not the newest one. The newest one people weren't happy with with that series. It was animated by a studio who had done one kind of cutesy anime, and not in the hands of like some of the larger studios that deal with anime. But the '90s anime is a classic.
Maybe that's the one that I need to find, because when I originally watched it, this was after we had our interview with Lucrexia. And if you haven't heard of them, they'd be a great band for you guys to tour with. They're a small band in California. I'm sure
I
they
know
would
them
appreciate
pretty
this
well,
plug.
actually.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Talked to Jackie a lot, actually. So
That's awesome.
friends of
Yeah.
ours for a while.
Jackie's a sweetheart. She's awesome.
Definitely.
But when she had mentioned that, I went and I found the Netflix one. So that's probably not the one you're talking about. If you're talking about a 90s anime, then I would expect something more of a different animation style, because the one that I found looked like kind of like video game cutscene type animation. Like the third movie was sick, and that was the one that I definitely appreciated the most, because it gets so fucking bonkers. But yeah, I was wondering what other animes you and the guys are really into.
I'm into some older stuff. Like one of my other favorite animes is Fist of the North Star, which is definitely not as deep of an anime. It's a fun ride. I like Trigun as well. Some newer stuff, Hunter x Hunter. I recently started watching Demon Slayer.
I heard
Yeah,
that one's
How
really
do you
good.
like
watched
Demon
it.
Slayer? Because I've had a hard time actually trying to get into that.
It's been decent so far. I'm only a few episodes in, so I can't really comment too much on it.
Mm.
I need to
I'll give it a chance.
get deeper, but I've heard it's one of the best kind of newer age animes right now, at least for the last couple of years.
lately I've been watching Seraph of the End. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. Um, your basic vampire anime. Um,
Okay.
it's 24 episodes. I'm on episode 22. I'm about to be done with it. So I'm stoked to check out something else. I was hoping you'd tell me what I should watch next.
I mean, that's a good one to go with. Uh, I guess I've been kind of going back to old movies as well. Like I watched Perfect Blue recently, Akira, things like that. I've kind of into that kind of old 80s, 90s anime aesthetic lately.
Mm.
So,
I was a really big fan of Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't know if that was one of the ones on your list or not.
I haven't watched that one yet. It's definitely on my list, though.
It's a good anime. It's a good anime. So, uh, bringing this back to music really quick, do you have any tips for any like aspiring musicians or anybody that's kind of up and coming at the moment? Because you guys have seen tremendous growth, I would say, in 2019. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the just from the get-go, really focus on the songs themselves. Production is very important. Um, we obviously mix ourselves. Many people might not know that actually. We mix ourselves and we master ourselves and track everything all ourselves. But that's been years of grinding to get to that point.
Mm.
Right.
We're big on DIY, but if you don't have the skills to do that, I would recommend putting the money into going to a good studio or someone that you know that's has a good setup and a good mix. So that's going to be part of the key to success: good songwriting and good production. And then after that, online presence is super important. You don't even necessarily have to start grinding out local shows and things like that. We actually didn't even play our hometown to start. Our first show ever was in New Jersey, of all places, and we're a Canadian band.
That's interesting that you crossed borders for your first show as Brand of Sacrifice.
Yeah, so you don't necessarily have to go the standard route of playing a ton of local shows and hoping to gain a fan base there, selling tickets and things like that, and then hoping that someone will check out your band and you can expand and do a smaller tour. You don't have to necessarily do that anymore. Key is online reach, good recordings, good songs, and understanding your target demographic. See, that's part of why we decided to make that original content with the calls and things like that.
Yeah.
'Cause it helps engage your audience more aside from just the music.
Yeah,
So,
because the internet is a big thing now,
and
huge thing now.
people respond to memes. That's kind of how the world operates these days to a degree.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think we would have secured some of the interviews we have secured if I wasn't doing my ritualistic 3 memes a day.
it helps. I mean,
It does.
especially if it's good content and people respond to it and they'll come back for more. So that's kind of what helped uh, kickstart the band. At least someone created a meme that was kind of Pentecostal churchgoers, kind of dancing in the spirit and flopping around and things like that with our song clips, and that gained like, I don't know, 5 to 10K Facebook followers and likes with over a period of time just from that video alone. So it goes to show memes are huge, but if you don't have the content there to begin with, people aren't going to respond.
Mm.
So it's a combination of the two. So
Anybody listening who hasn't finished their songs, get it.
Seriously. Yeah, because not right now. Right now, we're doing this little thing on our Instagram right now of trying to call out everybody that we've interviewed, plus maybe some different people, to do a stupid thing that I did this morning.
Yeah.
It's basically the Shrek. Somebody once told me a world was gonna harm me, but do like kind of their own harsh vocal wise. So far,
like tag you're it kind of thing.
yeah. Definitely Definitely check that out, guys, because Pat did his. I did mine first, and we pretty much called out the vocalist from fucking
Hopewell
Christ,
Furnace,
Hopewell
and
Furnace,
then
um,
Hell Followed With, 'cause
Dropout
nobody
Kings
hated.
with Adam,
Okay.
Nikolai with Nikolai with Hopewell Furnace, and Andrew Patterson with Hell Followed With.
Yeah. Good guy.
Oh, he's fantastic. I love that man. He's awesome.
Yeah, we literally can't say enough good things about all three of them, really.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned, or I believe you've mentioned in an interview before, that you prefer the self-producing and the recording from home route as opposed to going to a studio.
Yeah, that's been the way for us, and we did that for our EP and for our full length, and the one coming up will also be self-produced as well.
Was that what it was like in the After Image, or?
The last record was, and that was not done by Leo. We had a different guy in the band that was kind of writing and producing the music. That was his first time kind of really mixing songs commercially, and I think it kind of shows in some ways. But it's something that we kind of worked really hard on with Brand of Sacrifice to make sure that it was kind of up to snuff with other commercial releases. So we really went through a lot of different types of mixes, especially for God Hand, before we kind of were set on the final one that you hear on the album.
Okay.
Was it intended to be the name of the record?
Sorry?
Was God Hand intended to be the title track?
Yeah, I kind of had the name of the album before I even started writing any lyrics. I saw that phrase and I was like, okay, this is the one. And then I just started writing the entire record kind of based around the God Hand, which it's a group of kind of higher demons in the Berserk series. You don't really see them too much in the movies or in the 90s anime. It's kind of something that happens more later, but you get glimpses of them in the movies in the 90s as well.
That's when I feel like it really starts to pick up, but of course I saw that Netflix movie, so I still got a lot more to dive into now. Whew.
I'd say for Berserk, the 90s is the best iteration because it gets the deepest with the character building, but it's the same story that the movies was up to the eclipse, but there's so much more in the manga, so I'd recommend reading the manga over either of those. But it's good to start at least.
Yeah.
Some people, I know, they don't want to commit to an entire series, so the movies are a good way to jump into it and understand what's going on, and then you could go to the manga from there.
That's what I did with The Walking Dead, to be honest, but
okay.
Yeah, I kind of did that with Naruto. Not even gonna lie to you. That's how I got into that.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, it is almost nearing that time where I have to head to work. So, honestly, I've been super appreciative just to have the time with you. So again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and do this interview with us. Is there anybody that you want to thank, or anybody in particular you want to shout out really quick?
I just want to thank everyone that has been supporting the band thus far. We find it really humbling, and we really appreciate the kind of rapid growth we're seeing. And it wouldn't be possible without the support of the fans and supporters of the band. So I just want to thank you to everyone that's giving Boss the time of day. Also want to shout out Bravado Spices. They're a hot sauce company. They recently got a few of their hot sauces on that show, Hot Ones.
Oh yeah.
And they support Brand of Sacrifice a lot, so I want to shout them out.
That's sick.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty dope. I didn't realize, and I've watched that show before, and I didn't even realize that.
So maybe we should get a Brand of Sacrifice type of hot sauce. That would be fucking dope. Just saying.
That'd be awesome.
Just saying.
That'd be lit.
That'd be pretty spicy.
I fucking hate you.
I'd pick it up. Awesome. Anything else before we head out?
That's about it for me. I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Oh no,
Awesome.
we appreciate you. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, that was Kyle Anderson with Brand of Sacrifice. Thanks for listening, guys. As always, check out the Instagram. We have 3 daily memes a day. If you need that cheap laugh, we got you. We've got you.
We got you.
And make sure you're following us on, of course, on the Instagram. Check out the YouTube channel because that's where we make sure that you can see all of our interviewees. I didn't ask why, but you won't be seeing Kyle on this interview. You'll just be hearing him, which, oh well, no biggie, no stress, no sweat. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. Hit that freaking bell. It's
Hit it.
right around here somewhere. I don't know.
Somewhere.
It's yeah. Spank it. Give it a good old spanking. And stick around. We've got a lot more great, juicy content. We actually just wrapped up an episode not too long ago, so stick around.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye.